So yesterday we talked about Azure Data Factory. Okay. Okay. So yesterday we talked about Azure Data Factory. So as we know that we have multiple, cloud providers in the market. One is Amazon, and the product of Amazon is Amazon Web Services. Another one is Google, and the product of Google is GCP, Google Cloud Platform. Okay. The third one is Microsoft, and Microsoft we have Azure. Microsoft Azure is the cloud service. Okay, that these companies are providing. Now we have three different platform. You can, but the most popular one is Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. Google one is less bit popular. Okay, and you might have used Google Drive. Okay, so why you are using Google Drive? To store your data, so that if you know the 25 GB of space is given by Google to you nowadays. I think it's reduced to 15 GB, correct? So if you have any documents, anything, you can store, like Google Photos also you can store, right? So this is nothing but a kind of cloud services. Similarly, industries these days moving fastly toward the cloud, and that's why there is a need to upgrade our skills in this area, because people are very less, jobs are very high. This is the thing. So when we are moving to the cloud, we should be knowing the concepts of data engineering and data science. This is what we have discussed yesterday. Okay, so I'm just giving you a recap what we have discussed yesterday, then we will quickly jump into the exercise which we are trying to complete, okay, yesterday itself. Now the thing is, Azure Data Factory is used for data engineering purposes. Okay, so in data engineering purpose, we have Azure Data Factory, we have Azure Data Bricks. Okay, and if you talked about the warehouse, data warehouse, it's Azure Synapse. Okay, these are the things. In all the three things, we need to learn the basic thing is Azure Data Factory. Okay, so I have given you one basic example. For example, if I have purchased a furniture from any of the shop, correct? Now this furniture has to move to my house. So source is my shop and target is my house. Okay. Now to get to get a shop, what I need? I need the address, link address of the shop. So key address is very important. Then what I will do? I will disassemble my furniture, okay, and do a packing, and I will pack, and it will be moved through some mover and packers cargo vehicle, right? And again to my house. But when I reach to my house should also be having key and addresses. Otherwise, I can, deliver this furniture anywhere else. Okay, it is not possible. We have to key and addresses for our house as well. Now, now when we go to our house, we will assemble this furniture once again and place in the house. Correct? If I replicate the same thing, this is a one delivery objective. So a delivery person is doing this delivery. Agreed? For example, this kind of delivery can be done in n number of places. So there will be n number of delivery man. Agreed? So those delivery men are nothing but Azure Data Factory pipeline. Okay. And there is a person who is managing these delivery men. For example, if you have 15 delivery men, 20 or 100 delivery men in the market who is giving the delivery of the furniture from the shop to the respective houses, right? There is a manager assigned to those delivery men, and that manager will be a delivery manager, right? So delivery manager will become integration runtime. I will tell you why I'm giving you the example, because I just want to give you, the knowledge, or in a simple layman terms, how you can correlate with this thing. So when we are creating the Azure Data Factory, correct? Just a second. Yeah. So now my cursor is moving. When we are creating the Azure Data Factory, this furniture is nothing but a data. Okay, data in form of Excel. Now this the from where we can pull this data is the shop, and shop is replicated by Azure Blob Storage. Okay, so Azure Blob Storage is a kind of container or you can say is a kind of storage capacity or capability inside the Azure by which we can have this data stored, okay, as an input. So for example, you have multiple data sources, Mansa and Bhargava, right? You can extract the data from SAP, you can extract the data from Oracle, you can extract the data from Excel, correct? So initially you have to store this data, right, in cloud. And in cloud, you can only store the data. For example, if I talk you to store the data in your machine, how you will store? You will store the data in PowerPoint, you can store the data in Word, right? You can store data in Notepad file. There are a number of options you have, correct? Similarly, in cloud, we have some options available, okay, to initially store the data. Correct. So those are known as Azure Blob Storage. The characteristics of Azure Blob Storage is to store any kind of file, whether it is a CSV file, whether it is a text file, whether it is a media file, whether it is a non-media file, right? For example, if I give you an option to store some MP3 file, media file, right? Then your extension will not be same. But here in Azure Blob has capacity to store any kind of thing, correct? It is the feature of Azure cloud, okay? So yesterday we created container, okay? I will go slow by slow, okay? So this is the thing. Now link addresses, here we call it as a link services, okay? Key addresses. So link services is nothing but a connection string between your source to target. And what is the target? The target is SQL database. SQL database is your target, okay? Today we will not show you the SQL database as a target. We will show it in next case study. Today what we will do, we will create a input container, we will create a output container, correct? And then we will load the data from input container to output container. Agreed. Very simple example today we will discuss. But first of all, I will tell you this key addresses is nothing but a link services. So these are the components of Azure Data Factory. If you have to learn the Azure Data Factory, you should be knowing each and every component separately. What is what for what purpose this link services is created? So the purpose is when you extract the data from any source, a link services should contain the address or link or connection string so that you can connect to your source with the target, correct? So you can see the link services placed here and link services is placed here, right? So this connection string is only to connect source, this connection string is only to connect your target. Agreed? Now, coming to the data sets. What is data sets? So data set is basically, for example, I mean, when you go and face the interview, you will be asked with this question, okay, all the time. What is the data set? Now, this Excel file or any table should be having some columns. Agreed? For example, you are simply having a sales data for any business, like you can say the grocery store. Okay. Now in this sales data, you would be having, batch code, material code, customer ID. These are kind of dimensions, and the values like volume sold. Okay, what is the sales price? Right, these are numerical values which defines your transaction is known as measures, right? So this entire list of columns, dimensions plus measure, you can say this is the structure of data. Okay, so for data, structure is very much important, guys. Okay, so data set basically, you know, is important. Why? Because what structure we want to copy. For example, Mansa, you have 500 columns available in your data. Agreed? But do you really want to extract 500 columns? If you wish only 100 columns, then what will happen? Your data set will be only 100 columns. You will not keep all 500 columns because there is no need to extract the data. So by doing this, you are actually saving your memory. Okay, and if you're saving your memory, you are saving your cost. So data set is very, very important. So this data set will define the structure related to the source. This data set will define the structure related to the target. But then the question should arise, why we are having two different data sets? Okay, Can anyone answer, please? Uh, yes, yes, you are right. But the thing is, see, one is a source data. Okay, source data simply means if you have, I have given you example, correct? If you have 500 columns in total, correct? But you need only 100 columns to be extracted. Then source data set will be 100 columns. Imagine you need four derived columns. You know about derived columns. For example, we have sales, okay? And yeah, so basically, if you put five more derived columns, what will happen? Your target data set should contain 105 columns. Agreed? Right? So there is an addition of column or there may be subtraction of column. Correct? So that's why target dataset also needs to be created. Now in between source and target, you need some task to be performed. Okay, the task like copying the data from source to target. Okay, or you can say uh, you want to merge the columns. You want to do a VLOOKUP. You want to do some transformation. You want to some calculation to be performed. So this all comes under activity, correct? And this is if you are storing one source data into target, this entire thing combinedly called as pipeline. Okay, so this will become a pipeline. Okay, so as I said that one delivery can be performed by one delivery man. So there could be n number of delivery men in the market, right? So there could be n number of pipelines in the Azure Data Factory platform. And these delivery mans are managed by one delivery person. Okay, and similarly we have something known as integration runtime. So runtime is nothing but a platform where your pipelines runs. Okay, for example, if you know a little bit basics about C programming, correct? When you are in the engineering or maybe in the 12th standard, you might be writing some C language program, correct? But after writing the C program, you need a compiler where you can run that C program. Agreed? Similarly, we have pipeline. Pipeline can be created by using by link services, dataset, and copy activity. But we need to execute this pipeline in some platform, and that platform is known as integration runtime. Agreed? Now I can show everything in the system. Okay, so as of now things are clear, guys, for you. Okay, so because we yeah, yesterday what we did, first step we perform is we have created storage account. So if I click here, this is a storage account. Okay, and why storage account is necessary? Because so that we can store our data. So Azure is something that from where we can store our data. Okay, so if you see inside storage account, there is a container. This, if we click here, we created two container, input container and output container.